good. She's going to spin. Or watch and see. Draining. So it tries to drain. Sorry, tries to spin. See, it spins, started to spin. The light came on, and there's a resistance. We're going to dig into that. All right, guys, so we're down here underneath the machine. As you can see, the belt, that's the drive belt, that's the motor, that's the pulley, and they're pretty saturated in oil. Could be an early sign of a transmission failure. Not always. Sometimes they do have what you called weeping holes, or they actually produce a vacuum during operation, and if that hole gets clogged, they will emit some oil. So that's not always because of a bad transmission. So we're going to clean this belt up and the drive pulley. I want to take the belt off to actually clean it. I've actually had customers that said they oiled it. They heard a squeaking and they oiled it. Do not put any oil in these machines, especially in the belt. It comes off pretty easily. Obviously it's saturated, look at that. So you want to make sure that you get all of that off. Now, something else on these units that can cause the washer not to spin, and it is this guy here, and I think it's called the something to do with the stator on the motor. It monitors the speed, and I will list it in my description if I post this video, which I probably will. And it mounts right there. Sometimes the wire gets separated, and the motor does not know where, the computer does not know where the motor is or how fast the drum is spinning. So pay attention to this wire. Make sure nothing's kinked or cut. I've had them where they were ripped, and so those look fine, I think. And sometimes you can clean the connections, but a lot of times if the belt is slipping, you will get a false reading because the RPM is not ramping up, so the motor does not know what's going on. And this is your splutch. This disengage your washer from wash to spin to agitate, and there's a splutch behind here, and all that stuff looks like it's working fine. There it is. That's how it goes. And then this is free, and during wash, box, or during spin I should say. So yeah, so we're going to be concentrating cleaning this belt off a little bit and putting it back on, and if we're good, then we're good. If not, then we're going to be dealing with that sensor. All right. Sometimes you can clean these connections, make sure they're plugged in, but mainly what I'd be worrying about is mainly cut wires or chafe wires, and sometimes they even, you got to pull this motor out to change it. 2 bolts, disconnect the motor wire, and the motor looks fine. So yep. All right. Drain pump, it's normal. So everything is cleaned. Use a good degreaser. Make sure the belt is nice and clean. And once all that is cleaned, put her back together. And make sure you dry it. Wipe it good. I use a Dawn dishwashing liquid or gunk engine degreaser. Something like that to make sure it's nice and clean. And once that's done, put it back together. That sensor I was talking about is a speed sensor. I will leave a description. So we're spinning. This is still low speed. We still have to ramp up to high speed. And of course the belt, I will probably do a better clean on it. I'm going to soak the belt in Dawn dishwashing liquid and make sure all the grease or oil is off, and see if I can find that weeping hole, vacuum hole, vent hole actually, and get that thing, and also too from overuse or overloading. Overuse, you basically heat up the oil more than it should. So we're ramping up here. You can hear it. So this unit actually had two issues. We did replace the lid switch on it. Here we go, high speed. Alright guys, I'm going to let her run, and now you know what to check. If your machine is doing that, if you're getting the flashing light on the spin, the washer will not spin, then flip her over, unplug, check your underneath, take off the guard for the motor, and make sure your belt, if your belt has oil, clean it well. Wash it, soak it, put it back on, clean the pulley as well, and the motor pulley, and then, put her back together. You should be fine. Alright, thanks for watching.